I have time for a story time till I go to work. And I'm going to make this a brief story time. And people always tell me my life should be a sitcom or a reality show. And I'll tell you one of the incidences where it should have been. So, I worked at Walmart for 6 months. And I worked at Home Depot for 6 months. I it was the tail end of me being at Walmart. And I always had this customer come in, and I think they thought I was related to them somehow, like an aunt. But they had told one of my coworkers I was actually their stepmom. And at this time, I am in my early 30s. I was 30 years old. So it had been some years, and this happened in 2021. So I was like, okay, maybe they're getting me confused with somebody else. So I go in and I card them for alcohol, and I don't catch the name. Like, the name sounds familiar, and I'm not going to say it on here because I really don't remember, but I'm like, okay, the name sounds familiar. So one day it's like 2 days later, and I am doing receipts on the door, and I'm checking everybody out, and I'm, watching 2 doors. I'm making sure that the carts are wiped down, just to pass time till my shift is over. So then I turn around, and they come back in, and somebody had asked them, how do you know her? And they said, oh, she's our aunt, but she became our stepmom. And they were asking me, hey, could we do a family vacation? Just me, you, grandma, and, our other aunt. And I'm like, oh, they're confused. They have me confused with somebody else. And I'm like, sure, whatever. I'm trying to be as kind as I can. So, fast forward, I go to work at Home Depot, and they come into my line 3 times the time I worked there. And one of the times, my supervisors are standing there, and they said, oh, we didn't know you had stepchildren. And I'm like, I didn't know what to say on it, and I didn't want to say anything because it was kind of an awkward situation. So they, for 45 minutes are trying to convince me and they're like, we're so sorry we treated you this way. We shouldn't have treated you this way when you were a stepmom. And I'm like, oh, this is awkward. And they were inviting me on a family vacation, essentially. So when I was working, just to backtrack, when I was at home Walmart, there was this girl, and she kept asking me, she's like, hey, what are they saying to you? And I said, I think they have me confused with somebody else. And I just left it there, and she's like, I don't think they have you confused with somebody else. And I was like, oh, okay, this is awkward. And she was like, hey, tell me what they say next time, because they had come in several times. And I was like, okay, it's not really relevant. So I get to Home Depot, and they come in several times, and they're trying to convince me to forgive their grandmother. Apparently, there was some family rift, and they wanted to go on a family vacation. And it was kind of awkward because I don't want to be rude. And I just told my boss it was a complicated story, and I just left it at that when they asked, because I didn't want to go into whole details of the whole story. But that was the story time of the most craziest, one of the times that was awkward for me that I worked in the general public.